With me now is real estate lawyer Mark Morris. Mark, good morning to you. What a development. Buyers trying to get out of a purchase that they just made. What options do they have, and what happens to the money that they may have put down?
Good morning, and thanks for having me. Yeah, it's quite a change. In previous years, of course, buyers were very glad for their purchase, and as the months passed between the time they signed their agreement and closed, their property values went up. Of course, now the reverse is happening, and we're seeing the ramifications of that. Real estate lawyers generally encounter these files about 3 months after they're signed. That's when we're usually dealing with closings. And as a result, we have a whole bunch of buyers who are now closing on deals where the value of their property has fallen. Unfortunately, those buyers are generally locked into firm agreements, and that firm agreement means that not only is the deposit liquidated damages in the event that they fail to close, but they are also liable for the delta of any amount that the seller cannot reclaim by selling on the open market following the failure of the deal. And what that means, particularly if property values have declined by 20% or so, could be significant, particularly with the purchase prices where they were when we reached the peak of market.
So take a deeper dive for us into the reasons why people are backing out, why they have this buyer's remorse.
Well, I think that's very obvious, and I think it's largely due to I don't know if it's a failure of government policy or there's certainly a failure somewhere where first-time home buyers, in fact all buyers, are now contributing the vast majority of their monthly income towards a mortgage. As a result, if you make the wrong purchase, it can knock you off your feet in a significant way, much more so than perhaps previous years where the value of real estate proportional to your take-home salary was not as great. As a result, the impetus is there to walk from deals because making a wrong purchase has life-altering consequence. It's not hard to discern why someone who feels that they made a bad purchase would be trying everything in their power to get out of it. And you've got to feel for people in that situation because, you know, there but for the grace of God goes I.
What's your advice then right now to home buyers and to sellers?
Speak to a lawyer early. We really are the only people who can help you navigate the rough waters that present themselves. The fact that buyers are legally locked into these contracts doesn't mean that they don't have negotiation leverage. There is certain leverage that a lawyer may be able to assist with and certainly help with negotiation. And talking to the person, to the seller, is the order of the day, particularly early, so that mitigation of damage can occur quickly and perhaps a reasonable solution can be found. Just to throw some on the table, sometimes in order to avoid the court battle that ensues, sellers are prepared to allow someone to sign a mutual release provided they give up their deposit. Other sellers are willing, and this has been the case with previous recessionary periods, to allow for what's called VTBs, that is to say vendor take-back mortgages, such that if there is a missing component that is no longer being covered by a mortgage, that they take back a mortgage from the buyer, allowing the buyer to proceed. There are any number of tricks up a lawyer's sleeve, but a lawyer can't assist you until such time as you alert them to the fact that this problem exists.
So where does this leave the seller? I mean, can they be confident that if they sold their house that it's going to go through?
No, no one can be confident until that happens, but that's true in any time. The risk is now higher. It leaves the seller in a position where good real estate agents are now advising for healthier and stronger deposits to account for the very variability that we're here discussing. And certainly the larger the deposit, the less likely someone is to walk away and the more sound they will be in the event that the deal fails to consummate.
Mark, thank you very much for joining us and explaining all of this. Real estate lawyer Mark Morris this morning.